Did Cody Rhodes win the Royal Rumble? Or did CM Punk come back 10 years to beat Dusty's kid? Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Wrestling with the Apester. I am the Apester himself, of course, and man, it has been a long time since I made a podcast episode, but it's been a long time since we had a premium live event. What, Survivor Series? Yeah. Long time. Finally, I'm back here, better than ever. This episode's probably not going to be that long because there's only 4 matches on the card here. And I'll go through everything here and give you my opinions and all that. But I guess I can run down a couple highlights from these past couple Raws and SmackDowns that I can think of off the top of my head. First and foremost, The Rock coming out on SmackDown on Raw, interrupting Jinder Mahal. And at the end of it, he goes, The Rock's hungry. He wants to get something to eat. Should I sit on a booth? Should I sit at the bar? And The Rock loves the bar. Or should I sit at the head of the table? Yeah, he said that. He actually said that. A lot of people were like, oh my god, well, he's talking about Roman Reigns, whatever. Why do I have a feeling he's talking about the whole TKO deal? Because just the other day, The Rock is now the board of directors of the TKO merger, the TKO End of War company. And I guess he posted something along the lines of, I'm the head of the table here at the TKO, acknowledge me. So I wonder if he's actually referring to that instead of Roman Reigns. But odds are he's referring to Roman Reigns. But now what? Because what I'm about to talk about here is going to be pretty interesting. Interesting information here at the Royal Rumble. So I guess I can run down real quick the match card. So how did we get to this point? Let's see. Here we go. There's 4 matches on the card. The show was last night, January 27th on a Saturday, 2024. Happy New Year, by the way, everybody. So here we go. It's in Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida, and a lot of people are saying that the crowd was pretty dead for this event, and I can definitely agree with them because the event was not as explosive, as you would think, especially in a Royal Rumble, So we have the Men's Royal Rumble, the Women's Royal Rumble, Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens for the United States Championship, and lastly, Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles versus LA Knight versus Randy Orton for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship as a fatal 4-way. So here we go. So let's begin our review. And now, of course, the road to WrestleMania begins at the Royal Rumble. In my opinion, it begins January 1st at midnight. That's in my opinion. That's the road to WrestleMania for me. But in WWE's eyes, it's at the Royal Rumble. So, especially with how they have the sign set up and everything. So, and the sign looks fantastic, by the way. So we started off with the Women's Royal Rumble match tonight. And I will give you the participants right here. They're all in order here. So there's a couple people that before I read this list out, there were a couple people I expected maybe to see. Maybe like Trish Stratus or something. But we didn't see any legends come back in this one, in either of them, honestly. I'll get to the men's one later on, but on what I think. Because I heard there was some legends that was supposed to be there, but never showed up to begin with. Because I was like, man, we're at 29 already, and there's no legend. Like, where are they? But and I'll also give you the highlight of the women's match because there was about 2 highlights in this match that I can give you right now that were just absolutely phenomenal, and then the rest of the match was just as normal, like a normal Royal Rumble. So here we go. This is the entrance in order for the 2024 Women's Royal Rumble. So out at number 1, I'm just going to read this through. At number 1, Natalya. Naomi came out at number 2, a returning Naomi for the first time in, I think it's like 2 years. It doesn't feel like 2 years, honestly. It feels like maybe a little longer. But the crowd reacted as if it's been like 5 years since we've seen Naomi. So that was a cool surprise to see. When I heard the theme song go off, I didn't know who it was at first, but then I seen all the LED strips, the stripes, whatever, and then I heard, I'm away, I heard that, and I was like, okay, it's Naomi. I'm like, holy crap. It feels like yesterday that we seen her, like, on WWE television, so it's pretty crazy. Mind you, I do not, by the way, just for reference, actually, I'll say that in a minute, actually, I don't want to spoil it. So, okay, so number 1 is Natalya, number 2 is Naomi, Bayley came out at number 3, Candice LeRae at number 4, and Jordynne Grace, TNA Knockouts Champion, came out at number 5, and this is what I was trying to say just a second ago. Bear in mind, I do not watch TNA at all. I don't watch NXT at all. I've tried getting into NXT, but I kind of gave up after a couple weeks of watching it, but... So I thought Jordynne Grace was like an NXT star or something. I was like, okay, who is like, I didn't know the entrance theme. Everybody knew who it was, but I was like, who is this person, And then that's when I seen her come out, and I was like, who is this? Like, I thought, like, she looks like somebody that would be on the NXT roster, And then the announcers mentioned that she was the TNA Knockouts Champion. I was like, what the hell? We have a TNA superstar here. That's awesome. Which I heard rumors about earlier in the night, obviously. I'm going to start unfollowing all these damn wrestling pages because I swear to God, I don't want to get spoiled with all this stuff. But yeah, number 5 is Jordynne Grace, TNA Knockouts Champion. Cool surprise to see that. This is the point of the Royal Rumble where it doesn't really get that interesting. It's just, it's just regular Royal Rumble. People come out and get eliminated in and out here. So, number 6 is Indy Hartwell. 7, Asuka. Number 8 is Ivy Nile. Number 9 is Katana Chance. Number 10, Bianca Belair. Number 11, Kairi Sane. Oh, excuse me. Number 10, Bianca Belair. 11, Kairi Sane. Number 12 is Tegan Nox. 13, Kaden Carter. Chelsea Green at number 14. Piper Niven at 15. Xia Li at 16, Zelina Vega at 17, Maxine Dupree at 18, Nia Jax at 19, Shotzi at 20, which I don't know how the hell she grew her hair back that quickly, but I think it's, never mind. Anyway, number 21 is Becky Lynch, 22 is Alba Fire, Shayna Baszler number 23, and 24 Valhalla / R-Truth, and I'll get to that in just a second. Number 25 is Mia Yim, Zoe Stark is number 26. Did I say Mia Yim? Okay, Mia Yim was 25. I don't know if I said that, but number 26 was Zoe Stark. Roxanne Perez, which was spoiled earlier on in a promo. I guess it was like a behind-the-scenes promo. I think it was Cody Rhodes or Randy Orton that was coming out to look at the arena. He was looking around like, wow, look at the size of this place, And in the background, you can see Roxanne Perez's theme thingy bob or screen come up in the back, so that was already a spoiler alert that she was going to be in there. I kind of knew that already. So 26 was Zoe Stark, Roxanne Perez at 27, lucky 27, Jade Cargill, and I'll get to her in a minute as well, at number 28, Tiffany Stratton at number 29, and last but not least, a returning Liv Morgan at number 30. Okay, where do I start here? So let's start off with Valhalla and R-Truth. Okay, so Valhalla came out at number 24, as normal. All of a sudden, R-Truth's music hits right in the middle of her entrance. R-Truth comes running out. He sees Valhalla. Valhalla can't believe... Valhalla's like, what the hell? She looks back. She sees R-Truth running to the ring. R-Truth's looking at her like, okay, that's weird. He runs to the ring and he sees all the women in the ring. He's like, wait a minute, this isn't right? No, wait, something's not right here. He's face-to-face with Nia Jax. Nia Jax eventually eliminates, quote-unquote, eliminates him from the match. And R-Truth is like, no, this isn't right. And then Adam Pearce comes out. He's like, this isn't the right Royal, this is the Women's Royal Rumble match. This isn't the Men's Royal Rumble. And he goes, oh, all right. Yeah, well, I thought it was my, and then he goes off. And Valhalla officially enters the match as well. So that's why it says Valhalla / R-Truth. That was just a little funny moment there, which I thought was one of the highlights of the fucking night, honestly. That was seriously one of the highlights of the night. I freaking loved that so much. But Valhalla did not lose her spot. She went in. She went in and got eliminated after like 5 seconds. And Valhalla was not happy about that. We might even see R-Truth versus Ivar on Raw after seeing that. So, yeah. Or a crazy thing like Valhalla versus R-Truth. Sorry, I'm like looking at something else here. My freaking leg. I have like a bump on my leg, but anyway, yeah, so that was to me one of the highlights of the night. Obviously the main event I think was the number one highlight, which I'll get into that later, but Jade Cargill is another highlight of the night for me, and it's crazy because I didn't know who she was at first, but I'm pretty sure, I think she came from AEW, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, please correct me if I'm wrong. But what made her the highlight of the night, my goodness, she picked up Nia Jax over the top of her. Jesus, I just sort of burped. I don't know what that was, excuse me. Jade Cargill picked, Cargill, whatever the fuck you want to call her, picked up Nia Jax over the top of her head. Just barely got her over the top rope and eliminated her. That was one of the highlights of the entire match. I will give them that. And it was at this point where I got a little scared because we were down to, eventually we ended up getting down to the final three, which was Liv Morgan, Jade Cargill, and Bayley. And this was the fear I had, was that they were going to make Jade Cargill win the Royal Rumble. And as big of a deal as that would have been, because not only is Jade Cargill debuting on the main roster, but she's debuting her first match winning the Royal Rumble. Like, that's a huge, huge, huge win. However, that is not the case, thank God. Liv Morgan hit whatever the hell her move is called. Let me see if I can find it here, if they wrote it down here. After some I'm just reading this off the Bleacher Report, by the way. It's on their website. After some fighting on the apron, Bayley was able to get the win and earn a title shot at WrestleMania 40. Yeah, that's right. Bayley won the I didn't mean to actually spoil that just yet, but Liv Morgan hit a finisher on Jade Cargill on the hardest part of the ring, which is the ring apron, obviously, if you didn't know that, and eliminated Jade Cargill. And then Bayley had essentially drop-kicked, I believe, Liv Morgan, and Bayley won the match. And that was actually my prediction. I actually predicted Bayley was going to win. And before I continue on with the Rumble, I'm going to give you my predictions for what I thought was going to happen and what actually did happen. So, it was a really great match. Man, I'm killing myself over here today. Okay, yeah, so Bayley wins the Royal Rumble, earns her shot at WrestleMania 40. This 100,000,000,000% means she is going after Io Sky and challenging her for the WWE Women's Championship at WrestleMania. I cannot wait to see this. This is going to be absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, I mean, that was really great, man. I really enjoyed the women's match, the women's Royal Rumble match, and it's crazy. I don't really see myself enjoying women's matches in general. I don't know. I'm more into the men's matches, but yeah, the women's match was probably the better one out of the two Royal Rumbles, if I'm going to be honest with you. But win-wise, it was definitely the men's Royal Rumble that got it 100%, 1,000% better. But the match overall, I kind of like the women's one a little bit better. Although there was some nice highlights that I am going to be bringing up for the men's Royal Rumble as well. But let me give you my predictions before I even continue on. I should have given you my predictions in the first place. But the men's Royal Rumble, I was pretty mixed on that. I actually predicted... I was kind of tied between CM Punk and Cody. In that moment... actually, I'm not even going to get into that just yet. I don't want to spoil it just yet, so... but yeah, I was tied between Cody and CM Punk. Drew McIntyre, for some reason, I really wanted to see as well. But no, I think I had Cody. I think I had Cody on that. I wanted Cody to win, but my prediction was that they were going to have CM Punk win it. So there you go. There's my prediction. I predicted CM Punk was going to win it, but I really wanted Cody to win it. So that's my prediction. The women's Royal Rumble match, I predicted Bayley. I really wanted Bayley to win it. People were saying Becky Lynch, but I was like, no, we can't. Becky Lynch already won it, you know. But then again, let's take that into consideration with the men's Royal Rumble. Just keep that in mind as we move on with this podcast. So Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens. I actually predicted Kevin Owens would win that match. However, we'll get into that later, the shenanigans that happened there. So spoiler alert, Logan Paul retained. But I really predicted Kevin Owens was going to win that. And the Roman Reigns, AJ Styles, LA Knight, and Randy Orton Fatal 4-Way, I predicted Roman Reigns. I wanted Randy Orton to win, but I predicted Roman Reigns. But did Roman Reigns retain? I will get into that in just a few minutes. Don't you worry. But I did predict Randy Orton to win that. It's one of those things like with the Men's Royal Rumble. I predicted CM Punk, but I wanted Cody. In this case, I predicted Randy. Or I predicted Roman, but I wanted Randy to win it. I wanted all four, any of the three, I should say, three by AJ Styles, LA Knight, and Randy Orton to win it. I wanted any of the three to win it because anybody but Roman, for the love of God. But yeah, that was my prediction, but we will get into that after who won that match. So yeah, Bayley wins the Women's Royal Rumble match. They gave it a grade, they gave it an A, which I would agree with it, definitely. So Bayley is your Women's Royal Rumble match winner, and she's going to WrestleMania. We do not know who she's going to go after yet. However, I believe it's going to be Io. I'm just predicting that right off the top of my head. It's going to be Io Sky. It's so very obvious. They're doing that story with Damage Control, and lately these past couple weeks on SmackDown and a little bit on Raw too. We've been seeing sort of the downfall, them slowly pushing away Bayley off the Damage Control. But yeah, I can't wait to see this. So there's some notable moments and observations that they have written down here for the Women's Royal Rumble. Michael Cole's reaction to Pat McAfee joining commentary was so wholesome. Yeah, I remember actually this. Yeah, so before the match started, Pat McAfee came out, and that kind of did not surprise me because this happens like at every pay-per-view, literally at this point, where Pat McAfee comes out and they act all surprised, like, yeah, he's here, like, dude, this is like every pay-per-view at this point. And I will get into Pat McAfee later on in my anger towards Pat McAfee in a little bit because I was kind of mad at him. But I think I kind of understand why. But, yeah, Naomi's entrance ruled, but it was even cooler to hear. Yeah, her entrance was badass, I'm going to tell you right now. WWE and TNA seem to have some kind of understanding, which is incredible. Let's hope we see more of this. I really do hope we see more of this, honestly. Bayley scored the first elimination when she got rid of Indy Hartwell. That's a cool fun fact. Tegan Nox's senton to Bayley almost ended in disaster, but they saved it. Well, that's good to hear. Kairi Sane officially had one of the best Rumble saves ever, but it would have never, oh my God, I can't read it, but it would have been better if she survived for a bit longer. And there's also another fact I have to, oh yeah, it's right here at the end, but I'll get to that in a second. Zelina Vega's entrance gear was cool. Yeah, she had this giant, I don't know what she looked like a Mortal Kombat character. I don't even know what it was. Piper Niven and Chelsea Green, which, by the way, Piper Niven's attire here, like with the face paint and all that, I feel like she would be suited well with the Viking Raiders. Am I the only one that thinks that? Probably am, but I could see Piper Niven in the Viking Raiders. I don't know why. But Piper Niven and Chelsea Green did some of the best character work in this match. And, well, yeah, I would say so. Chelsea Green, another highlight of the match, Chelsea Green got absolutely annihilated. Poor Chelsea Green. No pun intended with the annihilated part, by the way. She got squished by Nia Jax like 6 times, and she was just dead. She was just and the commentary was like, yeah, she's just a corpse. We must protect our truth at all costs. Yeah, that's a good one right there. That's something to highlight right there. I like that one. Cargill eliminating Nia Jax was a good spot. It was a great spot. I loved that. I did not think she was that strong. Then again, I've never really watched her in any other promotion. I didn't know how she wrestled, so that was fantastic. That was a huge deal. Even Becky Lynch was standing next to her, was like, holy shit. You just eliminated Nia over the top of your head, like, no problem. And last but not least, the returning Naomi set a record by lasting over an hour in the match. Yes, so the world record in a women's match for lasting the longest, I believe, was Rhea Ripley at an hour and a minute. But then Naomi beat it with an hour and 2 minutes, I think. And then Bayley beat that record at an hour in like 2 minutes and some odd seconds, I believe it was. So Bayley does hold that record now for being in the Women's Royal Rumble the longest. So Bayley is the all-time record. At second place is Naomi, and third place is Rhea Ripley, I believe. Okay, so this is what shocked me a little bit. It was Roman Reigns. It was the Fatal 4-Way match between Roman Reigns, LA Knight, Randy Orton, and AJ Styles. It was for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. And man, Samantha Irving made a huge deal out of this. Was just damn. Like Samantha Irving, the way she announced it was just absolutely phenomenal. It was great. Like she put her all into that, man, especially the Roman Reigns intro. Randy Orton comes out first to the ring for the undisputed Fatal 4-Way match. And then after that, it was AJ Styles, then out came LA Knight, and then out came Roman Reigns, of course, who took about 45 minutes to come to the ring. I'm kidding, it wasn't that long, but it felt like it. Well, the match began, and Orton and Roman paired up while AJ Styles and LA Knight fought. Both duos battled on different sides of the ring until eventually converging near the announce table. The fans didn't seem to have a favorite. Everyone was being cheered at different times. Even Roman Reigns? Jesus, I didn't even know that. Even the heels. Oh, all right. Well, this crowd was popping for everyone out of appreciation instead of booing the bad guys, but it made for a ruckus feel in the stands. I don't know, man. The crowd was sort of dead a lot of these times, but I don't even know if I should read the rest of this, honestly. But obviously, eventually in the match, I mean, I know... I believe they had an announce table spot in there at one point, and eventually, obviously, the most predictable thing ever, which I was waiting for in a bad way. I did not want this to happen, but I was waiting for it, like, as to say, like, oh, here we go. Solo Sikoa comes out, and Randy Orton had the thing won. I swear to God, I actually thought he did it. I actually thought he fucking did it, but look at me over here believing that he actually fucking did it. And the referee could have hit the 3 count before this happened, but Orton was going crazy. He hit RKOs on everybody, and then when it came down to it, Reigns was about to hit a Superman punch, I believe, or it was either a Superman punch or a spear, and then Randy Orton countered it into an RKO. I believe it was a Superman punch. He countered it into an RKO. He went to pin Roman. It was 1, it was 2, and he had the fucking thing won. It was 3. However, somebody pulled out the freaking referee. And who was it? It was Solo Sikoa in a black hoodie. Here we go. This is where the shenanigans comes in, and I'm pretty sure you all know where this is going. My prediction was correct. The contest was a great match, but then when Solo got involved, it didn't need to happen. I thought Jimmy was going to come out at 1.2. I even thought The Rock was going to come out and cost Roman the title. That's if Roman were to lose the title, then I think either A, The Rock would have come out and interrupted and costed him, or maybe like Solo comes out and then The Rock comes out and saves Randy Orton, LA Knight, and AJ. In other words, The Rock comes out and attacks the attacker. Basically, comes out and attacks Solo Sikoa. Or maybe it would have been a clean win. Maybe somebody would have pinned Roman Reigns, or maybe Orton would have pinned, I don't know, freaking LA Knight, or LA Knight would have pinned AJ or something like that. But nope, we didn't get that. Solo basically came out and interrupted the pin, and the referee was out of the ring. Here we go. Now, mind you, there's no disqualifications in this match because it's a fatal 4-way match. But the Tribal Chief eventually, he speared Randy Orton, and I'll get to that in just a second, and he retained the title. But yeah, Roman Reigns retains the Undisputed Universal Championship. They gave it a B grade, which I think I could agree with that, I think. Yeah, I liked the match up until the end. I did not like the ending at all. Roman Reigns eventually speared everybody and won the fucking match. He pinned Randy Orton. Now, this is the part that shocked me. I thought he was going to... Me and my friend stood by what we predicted, and we thought LA Knight was going to take the pinfall. But no, it was actually Randy Orton that took the pinfall, which sucks. I really hate to see that. But I guess we're protecting LA Knight because he already has taken enough pins already, so... I predict that LA Knight eventually is going to win the U.S. title off of Logan Paul at WrestleMania. That's kind of my prediction here. Somebody's going to take it off of Logan Paul, I can tell you that. I'll give you my WrestleMania predictions after, but as everything stands right now, the way it is now, it could change, obviously, with Raws and SmackDowns and the Elimination Chamber, which I'll get into Elimination Chamber as well. I'll get into that soon about that, like the situation with that. But yeah, it was so predictable. Roman Reigns retains the title. Here we go. Freaking Solo coming out. I would have probably given it a little bit less of a grade only because of that Solo interference. But I'm surprised Jimmy didn't interfere in that. Here's some notable moments and observations that they have written here. Orton made a kid's whole day with a no-look high five on the way to the ring. I did not notice that. Pat McAfee's Stone Cold Steve Austin impression was funny. I didn't notice that either. I know he did a Randy Savage impression, and it sounded fucking spot on, honestly. Knight is a flashy wrestler, but he's also very technically sound. A lot of what he does looks about as good as it can. You better believe it. I love LA Knight. Yeah, you better believe that. Let me talk to you. One of the 2 counts on Reigns was as close to 3 as it gets. The kick out was timed perfectly. Yeah, there was a moment in the match where everybody was stacked up, and Roman Reigns was, I believe, I think it was LA Knight, and then on top of LA Knight was Randy Orton. Yeah, I think it was Randy Orton, and then on top of Randy Orton was Roman Reigns. And AJ Styles, I guess, hit a phenomenal forearm on Reigns. He ended up hitting a Styles Clash at one point, too, and got a near fall on that as well. But one of the highlights of this match for me was this kick out, because everybody was stacked on top of each other. AJ goes for the pin, and everybody kicked out of that. That was pretty cool to see that. Everybody kicked out of that. It was like a stack of humans, bro. It was pretty insane. But yeah, again, Roman Reigns retains the title as usual. So now it's like, okay, now we start to see a little bit more of the picture for WrestleMania, which, spoiler alert, by the way, Roman Reigns is not going to be at the Elimination Chamber, so that's why I'm saying it paints a little bit of a picture of what's going to happen. Roman Reigns is going to have the title at WrestleMania. But I'll get into Roman Reigns a little later on, because I'm going to be talking about him a little bit later on as well. But Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens for the United States Championship is next, is the second to last match. Yeah, so here we go. This was just a normal one-on-one match. There was nothing special about this. But Paul surprisingly tried to offer a handshake, but KO was having none of it. He immediately started unloading on the social media star with chops and punches. He quickly took the fight out of the ring and threw Paul into a few different things before bringing him back in. By the way, I'm reading this off again. I'm reading this off of Bleacher Report. All power to him. I'm just reading it off of here. He quickly took the fight out of the... Oh, I already read that already. Every match has shown improvements in different parts of Paul's game. Nobody is going to say he's Bryan Danielson, but to say that he hasn't improved on a technical level would be a lie. Speaking of Bryan Danielson, Paul Heyman earlier in the night in the pre-show actually made a reference to him. He said, Roman Reigns is going to do just like he did at WrestleMania with Daniel Bryan and Edge, and he's going to stack them up and pin them, just like he said he would do on SmackDown. So that was a pretty cool reference. He mentioned him as Daniel Bryan, not Bryan Danielson, and he also mentioned Edge as Adam Copeland as Edge, and not Adam Copeland. But anyway, back to the match here. So not only has his in-ring work continued to impress, but he's also getting better at the facial expressions and character work to fill in the gaps between spots. And having someone like KO as a dance partner made everything look that much better. And yeah, I think, as much as I hate Logan Paul, his in-ring work is really improving. Every match he just gets better and better. I love it. I absolutely love Logan Paul's in-ring work. I just don't like how he's the champion. I just don't like it. This is the first time he's defending it, I think. I mean, I don't know. I don't like it. I just don't like how he's the champion. But like I said, I really enjoy his in-ring work, because he's absolutely phenomenal. He's a high flyer for sure. But yeah, Logan Paul, great match. Logan Paul and KO, but I did not like the ending, and I'll get into that just right now. Just as he said he would. Owens kicked out of the knockout punch. The knockout punch, of course, everybody knows that Logan Paul has titanium in his fist, and he hit him with that freaking right hand. Owens kicked out of that, and that's actually, I believe, the first time anyone's kicked out of that, if I'm hearing that correctly. One of Paul's buddies passed a set of brass knuckles to him by way of Austin Theory. So Austin Theory and Grayson Waller came down to the ring. Here we go with the shenanigans. But KO was able to steal them and use them to hit a punch. Now, here's where the interesting part of the match comes in. To me, was the highlight of the match. So, obviously, Kevin Owens steals them, hits him in the face with the brass knuckles without the referee seeing it. Now, this is where I thought Kevin Owens actually won the match. He goes up for the pin. The referee counts 1, 2, And as he was about to hit 3, the referee sees that Kevin Owens still has the brass knuckles in his hands. And the referee was like, wait a minute, whoa, 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 whoa. You have brass knuckles in your hands. I'm disqualifying you. Bing, ding, 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 ding. The match ends by disqualification. The winner and still your United States champion, Logan Paul, via disqualification. Wow. Yeah. The ref saw them in his hand before counting the pin and disqualified him, declaring Paul the winner. Yeah. They gave it a B+ grade. I would have probably given it a B, but the ending, I didn't like the ending, but it was a little creative in a way, too. It's kind of like one of those, it sort of reminds me of like the Eddie Guerrero thing where he would hit the chair on the ground and throw the chair at his opponent and then lay down on the ground and pretend like he got hit with the chair. I love those kind of things. Like, it's just so cool to see that. Sort of, kind of, reminds me of that. Not really, but some notable parts in the match. There's not many here, but Paul's ring gear looked good. Whoever made it did a great job. Okay, that's whatever. Even if you don't like the Maverick, you have to give him credit for clearly continuing to work on his skills. Yes, I absolutely give him credit for all of his skills in the ring. And also his mic work as well is improving a little bit better as well. So I'm really enjoying Logan Paul on TV. I hate to say that. I mean, if my friend's listening on, I hate to say it, dude, but you have to admit, Logan Paul is doing a pretty good job in ring. He really is. He's a really great... He delivers a better match than Nia Jax, in my opinion, because I freaking hate Nia Jax. I cannot stand that bitch. I'm sorry. I just cannot stand that woman. Maybe I shouldn't call them a bitch. I know a lot of people will get offended by something like that. Anyway. But yeah, so... And a Swanton counter looked great. Paul got his knees up at the exact right moment. I don't remember seeing that moment. I would have to go back and watch the highlights, but yeah, that was a cool match. I really enjoyed seeing it, but the only thing I didn't like was the ending. But at the same time, I sort of did, because like it kind of gave me that Eddie Guerrero vibe, sort of. Just a little, maybe not. I don't know. So here we go, the main event. I cannot wait to get to this one. The main event is the Men's Royal Rumble match. Can you believe that this is the last match of the card? We're already flying by. I told you this would be a quick episode, honestly. The Men's Royal Rumble match. Here we go. So it was announced online. So I seen two different posts that had the leaked list. The first one I don't remember, but I know the second list that I saw, the number 1 entrant was Finn Balor. And it just went so on and so forth with the list. Number 30, I believe, was Sami Zayn, which is actually accurate because he came out number 30 here. No, number 30 I think was somebody else. Rey Mysterio was set to be on that list. X-Pac was set to be on that list, and a couple others. But some of it was right, some of it was wrong. However, some of the eliminated by section on that list. Some of it was accurate, some of it was not, but that list was, I'm assuming maybe WWE saw that and said, hey, like, the list got leaked, so we're just going to have to randomize it again. And before I get into this list, I'm going to predict who would have won it, which I already told you before, but on Monday Night Raw, R-Truth went to go grab his drawing for the Royal Rumble. They had the tumbler thingy, whatever. He puts his hand in there and grabs it, and he sees the number. He goes, does this mean I have to quarantine? Adam Pearce goes, no, that's your entry number to the Royal Rumble. So mind you, Valhalla came out at number 24, and that's the same number R-Truth came out of as, and it only made sense that he came out at number 24, but I actually thought he was going to come out at number 19, because COVID-19, and he said he had to, he said he had to quarantine. So everybody thought he was going to come out at number 19, but that was actually Ivar. Ivar came out at number 19. But seen as earlier in the night, R-Truth came out at number 24 in the Women's Royal Rumble match. I'm guessing he got it mistaken, and he said, oh, this is the wrong Royal... Wait a minute, this is the Women's Royal Rumble. I got to wait for the Men's Royal Rumble later on. Okay, so yeah, number 24, R-Truth came out. Like I said, again, he came out number 24 in the Women's Royal Rumble match, which confused me. I don't know why he didn't come out number 19. That would have made a little bit more sense, especially he said, oh, does this mean I have to quarantine? So I don't know why that kind of didn't make any sense, to be honest with you. It's not COVID-24, it's COVID-19. But anyway, So here, I'm going to run down the list here. It was rumored online that, or wasn't, it was pretty much spoiled actually, that Jey Uso would be number 1 entrant. Now, oh my god, when I found out about that, I was like, Jimmy Uso's coming out number 2. 1000%, Jimmy Uso's number 2. And what do you know? Jimmy Uso came out at number 2. Yeah, so for the first time ever, or since this whole rigmarole with Jimmy and Jey Uso, they come face to face, and Jay's face when he sees Jimmy coming out is just absolutely phenomenal. He's just looking at him like, oh shit. Jimmy comes out, the crowd goes crazy for this because brother versus brother. That was easily one of the highlights of the match, but I will get into the top highlight, which is the winner of the Rumble. I will get into that in just a few moments. But yeah, Jimmy and Jay, they go face to face. Jimmy is looking at him like his chin's all the way up, like Sergeant Slaughter. He's got his chin all the way up, looking at his brother. His brother's looking at him just in shock in a way, but at the same time, like, I'm gonna kick your ass, you know. But the match eventually starts. They go one-on-one for the first time ever. They're fighting each other. And eventually Grayson Waller comes out at number 3. And this is the point where I'm going to run down the list. Number 4 is Andrade, a returning Andrade. Awesome to see him. I did not know who it was at first because of the theme song. I was like, who the hell is this? And everyone was shocked about it. I was like, oh, this is a return. This has to be a return. Maybe an NXT debut or something. Like, a return. But the way the look on everybody's faces, it was like, dude, this is a return. So when the camera panned out to the entrance and I saw the thing Andrade, it said Andrade on it, that's when I was like, all right, it's Andrade. Sweet, awesome. That's great. He was rumored to be in it anyway. So was X-Pac, but X-Pac wasn't in it. And Sheamus was also rumored to be in it, but he wasn't in it as well. Maybe I'll pull out the list in a minute if I can. But yeah, number 4 was Andrade. Number 5, Carmella Hayes. Carmella Hayes. I don't know why they spelt it like that. That's wrong. It's supposed to be Carmelo Hayes. Shinsuke Nakamura at number 6. Santos Escobar at number 7. Karrion Kross came out at number 8. Dominic Mysterio at number 9. Carlito at number 10. I hate his new theme song, by the way. Bobby Lashley came out at number 11. Number 12 was Ludwig Kaiser. Number 13 was Austin Theory. Finn Balor at number 14, who was, of course, on that leaked list, came out as number 1. But he came out number 14 here. Cody Rhodes comes out at 15. Oh, boy. 16, it was Bronson Reed. Kofi Kingston at number 17, which, by the way, there was no Kofi Kingston spot at the Royal Rumble. I thought there was at first when he was hanging on for dear life on top of the ropes, but then, like, a second later, he gets eliminated. But I thought that was the Royal Rumble moment right there, but a lot of people were just like, aw, like he didn't get the Royal Rumble moment. But then again, Kofi Kingston already said he kind of retired it already. So I would love to see Kofi Kingston go over the top rope and land on one foot. But they already did that kind of like with the pancakes, but I don't want to count that. Like, I wanted to land like on one foot and jump like a pogo stick, like land like that. But I can understand that being a little difficult to do that. But then again, it's Kofi Kingston. I mean, come on. So Kofi Kingston comes out at number 17. Gunther at number 18. Number 19 is Ivar. I thought it was going to be R-Truth because the whole like, oh, does this mean I have to quarantine? He said that on Monday Night Raw when he pulled out his drawing. So number 19 is Ivar. Number 20 is Braun Breaker. Pretty funny how Ivar and Valhalla, kind of, we thought R-Truth was going to come out at number 19, but it was actually Ivar. And it's funny because R-Truth got involved with Valhalla earlier. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, so Braun Breaker at number 20, he was one of the highlights of the match, and I'll get into him in a minute. Omos at number 21. Man, he is gigantic. I hate how they bring him out on a rare occasion. Yeah, he should be treated as a attraction. I would love to see that, just like Andre was, but then again, Andre was 10 times better than Omos. I mean, come on. Number 22 is Pat McAfee. I will get into that in just a moment as well. Oh, I absolutely hated this. JD McDonough at 23. 24 was R-Truth. 25 was The Miz. 26 was Damian Priest. 27 was CM Punk. Lucky 27. Ricochet was at 28. 29 was Drew McIntyre. And finally, a returning Sami Zayn at number 30. So yeah, that means no Sheamus, no X-Pac, no Hulk Hogan, because Hulk Hogan apparently teased that he was going to be in the Royal Rumble last couple of weeks. He said, oh yeah, I might still have one more left in me, you know. And mind you, we're coming at the 40-year anniversary of Hulk Hogan. And that kind of ties in the Roman Reigns, because if Roman Reigns can be champion until September of this year, he's going to beat Hogan's record, and I don't want to see that. Which would mean Roman Reigns would be number 3 on the list. Which I don't want to count that, because technically you have to be the longest reigning WWE champion. Technically he's the longest reigning Universal champion, if we're going to be technical here. But WWE, of course, unified it and counted it. So now apparently immediately it makes him 1,200 some odd freaking days as WWE champion, apparently now that they unified it. But anyway, so yeah, the highlight, let me highlight the highlights of the match, in my opinion, before I get to what Bleacher Report thought was the highlights of the match. The highlights of the match, number 1 was Jay and Jimmy Uso facing off against each other. I absolutely loved that. Andrade coming back was cool. He was there for a while. Just reading through the list of superstars, and it'll come to mind as I'm reading their names here. Cody Rhodes coming out at number 15. Huge ovation he got for that. That was cool to see that. Braun Breaker, man, he was a beast. He's more of a beast than I thought he was, honestly. I mean, why haven't we called him up to the main roster yet? And the answer to that is probably because the roster is so stacked. And Triple H mentioned that in the press conference after the show, and I didn't really listen to it that much, but I tuned in around the end where Cody was answering some questions. After that, it was Triple H that came out, and they mentioned the whole Vince McMahon scandal, by the way, which Triple H kind of shrugged it off, and he said, "No, I'm just thinking of the positives." That's it. That's all he said. He basically was like, "Nah, I don't want to think about that." He basically, in a nice way, told the guy, "I don't want to talk about that. Get the fuck off my face," you know? Anyway, Braun Breaker absolutely impressed me until Omos came out. I thought Omos and Braun Breaker were going to go at it. They were going face to face with each other. But then the unfortunate highlight I have to put in, the bad highlight for me, was Pat McAfee. Rumor has it that Brock Lesnar was supposed to be in this match. And can you imagine Brock Lesnar and Braun Breaker face to face? That would have been absolutely fantastic. However, by the way, in the women's match, I just remembered, they did that spot where everybody tried to eliminate Nia Jax and it failed. There was 8 people trying to eliminate Nia Jax, but apparently it took 11 last year. But anyway, back to the topic here, the men's Royal Rumble. Sorry, I thought I'd throw that out there because I completely forgot. I'm very forgetful here. I'm sorry, just bear with me here. I'm only 24 years old, man, but I'm already starting to forget things like I'm a retired veteran, okay? Anywho, back to the Pat McAfee thing. I absolutely hated this, but going back to Brock Lesnar, I think Brock Lesnar and Braun Breaker would have been an awesome face-to-face, and we would have gotten that. However, he was involved, apparently, with the Vince McMahon scandal, so he was actually withdrawn from the Royal Rumble, and my assumption was that Pat McAfee took that place. I actually thought it was Ricochet that took that spot, but it looks like Pat McAfee took that spot, and basically what happened here was Pat McAfee couldn't believe it. His music played at number 22, and he was like, "The hell?" And then Michael Cole was like, "Yeah, that's you, buddy. Go out there. Get out there. Go." And he lasted, I think it was 35 seconds. Nobody even touched him. Literally. So this was at the point where Braun Breaker and Omos were face to face. And Pat McAfee was just like, "All right, I'm in the match. Cool, whatever. Go." And Michael Cole was like, Go do it, buddy." And Pat McAfee was very hesitant about it. You know, he got in the ring. He looked at the two giants in the ring, being Omos and Braun Breaker, and he was just very scared. He was like, "Nope, not doing it." He puts himself over the top rope the first time, and he was like, "Not going to do it." And then he goes back in the ring, and he hesitates again. He was like, "Yeah, I'm not doing it this time. Nope, not doing it." So he goes over the top rope, eliminates himself, and he's like, "Nope, not doing it. Not going in there." He goes back on commentary. He's like, "Listen, I am not going up against those two. Those two are behemoths. They are going to kill me." And to me, that was a waste. I hated it because it was a waste. Then again, if he was replacing Brock Lesnar, I understand it was probably a very last minute decision. So they were like, "You know what? Pat McAfee's here. We'll have him come in the Rumble." don't get me wrong, at first it seemed like a great idea because, like at first it seemed like a cool thing because the Royal Rumble's, it's filled with surprises, obviously, because it's the Royal Rumble, and I love seeing this kind of thing. The commentary team, like, going into the Royal Rumble, I think is a funny thing, until he wasted his spot. I did not like the part where he just eliminated himself. To me, it was a waste of a spot. I feel like he should have at least tried. Then again, the way they had this planned out with Braun Breaker and Omos being stood atop and everybody else was just knocked out, I feel like Pat McAfee could have at least went for somebody else apart from those two. But he figured, he's like, nope, like, these are the only two guys standing right now, and I'm going to get absolutely mauled by these two. I'm just going to eliminate myself. That was a waste, in my opinion, of a spot. That could have been given to somebody else. Sheamus would have been nice to give that spot to. Hell, put a woman in there for all I freaking care. I mean, dude, I would have rather see a woman come out there. Which, by the way, I had a feeling, I was like, man, I feel like somebody bigger than Nia Jax, like Karma, should come out there or something and eliminate Nia. But, man, it ended up being Jade Gargano. But anyway, yeah, so... Oh, man, that spot was just a waste, in my opinion. I know it was supposed to be one of the funny moments of the match where it's like, oh, I'm going to eliminate myself, or, hey, it's the commentary team that one of the commentators are going in the ring, It was really cool to see that one time at the Royal Rumble with Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler going in the Rumble, and Booker T as well. And Michael Cole, of course, was like, oh, my record still stands. You lasted 35 seconds. I lasted the longest in a Royal Rumble match. Blah, 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 blah. I don't even know what the hell Michael Cole's record is, to be honest with you. I don't know if it's I'm the longest reigning, like I'm one of the commentators has been in the longest or something. I don't freaking know. Anyway, yeah, that was another unfortunate highlight. Braun Breaker and Omos was probably my favorite highlight of the whole, almost my favorite highlight of the whole match until we got to the end of the match. So eventually, just got a text message. Sorry about that. So it came down to the end, the final 4 people in the match. Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Gunther, and Drew McIntyre. The final 4 in the match. I was thinking to myself of the negatives. I was thinking, okay, if, let's say, Cody Rhodes and CM Punk were to get eliminated, or either one of them were to get eliminated, I would have wanted Drew McIntyre to actually win that because he won the Royal Rumble a couple years back, and actually it was in front of a crowd. Now that I'm thinking about it, I thought it wasn't in front of a crowd, but he actually did win it in front of a crowd, so never mind. But it would have been nice still to see him get that moment, and then at WrestleMania he gets that moment in front of fans. I feel like we're gonna see that, but it kind of ties into CM Punk is back and he wants at it. Maybe we get a triple threat match at Mania with CM Punk, Seth, and Drew, and then Drew wins the title. I can tell you right now, Seth Rollins is not walking out of WrestleMania with the title. He walking into WrestleMania with the title, but he's not walking out with it. And let us not forget Damian Priest, which is another thing I forgot to say. Yeah. Why was Damian Priest in this match? Another wasted spot. He has the Money in the Bank. Guys, can you imagine this? Imagine, and I'm sorry the podcast just got really loud out of nowhere, but imagine this. Damian Priest wins the Royal Rumble, right? Imagine this. He wins the Royal Rumble. He goes after, let's say, Seth Rollins, okay? He goes after Rollins at WrestleMania. He wins the match at WrestleMania. And now he's the World Heavyweight Champion. Now, mind you, he still has the Money in the Bank. He cashes in on Roman and wins the WWE Championship. Now, at this point, he unifies the titles, WWE and World Heavyweight Championships. Imagine if that were to actually happen. So, to me, that was another waste of a spot. That absolutely made me go mental. I was like, why is Damian Priest even in this match? He's the Money in the Bank holder. He has an opportunity to cash in and get a title match. Why is he in this match? It just didn't make any sense to me. Another thing I thought of too, I was like, what if for the first time ever in a Royal Rumble, the last 2 competitors were a tag team? So let's say Jimmy and Jay, even though they're not really a tag team anymore. Or let's think more logically here. Kofi and Xavier Woods. What if Kofi and Xavier were the last two in the Royal Rumble? Or like Ivar and I already forget the other guy's name because it's been so long. What about let's say it would be JD McDonough and Finn Balor last. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think we've ever seen that in Royal Rumble before. Like a tag team is the last four or the last two or the last three in the match. I thought about that. I was like, how cool would that be? At that point, it would have been like, may the best man win, you know? And that would have really tied into a bunch of like heat with the team, you know what I'm saying? Like, that would have been really cool to see that. But anyway, let's get down to the last bits of the match. This podcast is actually going a little longer than I thought. I'm trying not to push it too hard here, but it came down to Cody, CM Punk, Gunther, and Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre was the first of the four to get eliminated. Eventually, Gunther gets eliminated, and of course, the last two in the match, Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. And at this point in the match, I thought it would be a win-win, but at the same time, I did not want CM Punk to win this. CM Punk, I don't know, Cody Rhodes has worked his way up to this moment for so long, and all of a sudden for CM Punk to come in after 2 months of being back, after a month or two of being back and take it away from him. And the fact that they were pushing this whole, what if Cody Rhodes wins back-to-back? It could be the first time since Stone Cold Steve Austin won it back in 1998, 26 years ago. That already spoiled it for me. But what really gave it away, as I was watching this, was Pat McAfee said, "Can you imagine?" And those are the three words that if a commentator says that, it ain't gonna happen. The commentator said, quote, Pat McAfee said, "Can you imagine if CM Punk wins the Royal Rumble match?" That was the number one. That was probably the second giveaway that said, okay, Cody's winning it. And then the third and final nail in the coffin, the one that really, really gave it away for me, in my opinion, which I feel like they shouldn't have said this, nor Pat McAfee should have never made that remark. And CM Punk should have never said this either, because it would have made it more of a surprise, and they should have done the thing in Monday Night Raw with, what if he wins back-to-back, you know? And they made a whole promo out of this on Raw, like with the, what if he wins back-to-back? What do you want, you know? Like, I feel like they shouldn't have made a big deal out of it because it would have been a surprise. But now it just made it so obvious. But CM Punk really obviously made it the most obvious. He said, "I did not come back after 10 years to lose to Dusty's kid." Heel CM Punk, dude. I think CM Punk's going to turn heel and go after Seth Rollins' title. I don't know. Then again, a heel winning over a babyface at WrestleMania, I just don't see it. I just like seeing the babyface, you know, winning and all that, like the happy ending kind of thing, you know. But after CM Punk, after he said that, Cody Rhodes counters the go to sleep. He actually hit it a few times on Cody, but Cody reverses it. Apparently, or eventually, there was actually a pedigree by CM Punk, which was pretty cool. There was a lot of meaning into that pedigree, by the way, because CM Punk and Triple H used to have that beef with each other way back in the day. And Cody Rhodes eventually counters it. He eliminates CM Punk. And if you can believe it, the crowd went crazy for this, but if you can believe it, Cody Rhodes wins the Men's Royal Rumble match. Not only did he go back-to-back, but he won the Royal... He's the first man since Stone Cold Steve Austin to win a back-to-back Royal Rumble. At that moment... Sorry about that. I just moved my phone by accident. But in that moment, I thought, what if it happens a third time, a fourth, a fifth time, you know? Like, nobody's ever done that before. Imagine that. Imagine if Cody Rhodes could do that, like he wins like 3 or 4 in a row. Like imagine he just keeps winning it. Like he's undefeated at the Royal Rumble. Imagine that, like some kind of streak like that. Like he's undefeated at the Royal Rumble. That's not to say he has to win the world title every year, you know. And then next thing you know, he's a freaking 25-time world champion, you know. But anyway, Cody got the glory. The first thing I said was, thank God. Thank God we gave it to Cody Rhodes. So Cody points at the sign. He does the little gunshot thing that he did last year. And for some reason, he pointed at the sign with his left hand. So it looked a little awkward. I don't know why he didn't point it with his left hand. But he pointed at the sign with his right hand. He put his arm over his face. It kind of looked a little awkward. But anyway, points at the sign. You know, the fireworks are going off as normal. Now, mind you, in the match, Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman were watching on, as well as Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, the World Heavyweight Champion, was watching on in the match. And Cody Rhodes points at Roman Reigns and says, I am coming after you to finish the story. And Roman Reigns stands up. He's holding the title up. Oh my God. So this is obviously a spoiler. Cody Rhodes is going after Roman Reigns. And 1,000%, 1,000,000%, I got to hurry up with this podcast. 1,000,000%, he is finishing the story at WrestleMania. I don't want to hear it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's finishing the story. I'm just leaving it at that. Cody Rhodes is finishing the story. Seth Rollins losing the world title at WrestleMania. But let us not forget, Damian Priest has the briefcase. That would have been pretty interesting if he could pull off the heist of the century 2.0. It would be very appropriate, especially how Seth Rollins did it the first time. Just throwing that out there. Cool. Anyway, so they gave it a B grade. Cody Rhodes wins a title shot at WrestleMania 40. Some notable things here to note here. Having Jimmy and Jay begin the match was awesome. Yep. Andrade's mask was phenomenal, which it was. Pat McAfee marking out with Shinsuke was hilarious. The interaction between Sandoz and Andre indicates the latter may be a babyface going forward. Bobby Lashley spear to Dominic Mysterio turned him inside out. I didn't get to see this because I actually took a bathroom break, unfortunately. The Authors of Pain and the Street Profits got involved when Karrion Kross and Lashley fought after being eliminated, which is awesome, by the way. The Authors of Pain are back. Freaking awesome to see that. A great tag team we have here. And, of course, with Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, I guess they're called the Pride now, versus the Final Testament. I absolutely love that Final Testament tag team. I love it. Bronson Reed made carrying two men on his back look easy. I didn't see that part, but Pat McAfee's short time in the Rumble was so funny. I actually did not like that. And sorry, I got a notification. R-Truth and Nia Jax had been the only people to compete in both Rumbles matches on the same night. And it's funny to think about that because I thought to myself in the women's match, I was like, what if a man comes out in the women's Royal Rumble match? And R-Truth, of course, had to be the first person to do that. Punk genuinely looked like he was having a blast. And he was. I can tell you he was right now. Overall, I'm not going to read... Overall, they gave it a B-. I'm not going to read all this, but I give it an A. I really enjoyed the Royal Rumble. I see a bright future ahead for WrestleMania, and I can't wait to see it. And let me issue this statement about the Elimination Chamber. I am not going to be watching it at 5 o'clock in the morning. Whenever I wake up is the time I'm going to be watching it. Either that or I'm going to wait for the event to finish and then I'll tune into it. Or I can tune into it in the middle of it and then rewind back to the beginning and watch it from there until I get to the point where I tuned in the first time, obviously, and just go off that. There's no way I'm waking up at 5 in the morning to watch this. You got me fucked up. I did that last time and I was so tired. I had an alarm for this too. Anyway, the max recording time here is 60 minutes. I don't feel like combining two different segments together in this podcast. I'm just going to leave it at an hour here. So thank you so much for tuning in. I give it an A overall. I absolutely love the Royal Rumble. It was pretty cool. Can't wait to see what we do. I can't wait to at WrestleMania, and I can't wait to see Elimination Chamber. Obviously, CM Punk's probably going to win that and go after Seth Rollins. I would love to see Drew McIntyre get involved too. I want to see Drew McIntyre win the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. I would love to see that. Mind you, Damian Priest could get involved. Who knows? We might have a swerve and he goes after Roman Reigns. I don't know. But so many predictions. I'm probably going to forget a lot of things after I end this podcast. But thank you so much for tuning in, man. I can't wait to watch Monday Night Raw tomorrow night. I actually have tomorrow off, so that's pretty cool. I have a lot of personal time I have to take off. But anyway, I will be leaving the links to the podcast below. If you're watching on Spotify or listening to it on Spotify and you want to listen to the YouTube version, I will put the YouTube version below. and vice versa. If you listen to it on YouTube, want to listen to Spotify version of it, I'll have the thing below. Tune into my YouTube channel. I have been uploading a couple times. I have 2 videos up there right now, me playing Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort. Go ahead and tune into that. I don't upload much, but hey, it is what it is. Sorry for the very fast and abrupt ending, but my recording time ends in about 25 seconds here, so and I don't feel like merging 2 different segments into one. But thank you so much for tuning in. I absolutely love the Royal Rumble, and I'll see you guys for the Elimination Chamber reviews. Yeah, peace out, everybody, and have a great rest of your Sunday.